know this isn't going to work. Oh, I see. It doesn't like that I'm doing it this way. Well, orientation is locked. Rotate device back. I want the other view, damn it. All right, how about if I do? Yeah, I don't want it. I don't want it in this freaking view. It's not very useful. No, that's not it. About this one. Live chat. Okay, good. Yeah, this is the orientation that I fucking need. So, anyways, since Streamlabs is being a little bitch, going back to doing it, I don't know whether it's solar flares or orientation is locked. But this is the orientation I want. God bless it. No, that flips that one backwards. Of course, you're not going to get the microphone. I will turn that shit off. I don't think I want to hit that X over there. I think that's probably bad. They've changed this whole format completely. Why are you fucking moving on me for no fucking reason whatsoever? These techie nerd burglars have to fucking change shit just to change shit. I don't mince words, do I? Freaking go get laid, you nerd burglar. Okay, we're plugged in here. I don't see where I can see what you guys are writing, if you write anything. And that's important. Okay, so I don't know that I can, okay, now I see your thing here. Okay, well, if I change it back, let's see if I can do this. It doesn't really work, but the show must go on. Now it likes that. Yeah, well, you guys can't see shit, though. It doesn't really work. It doesn't really work for me. Okay, well, we're going to try to do the best we can today. But it's really frustrating because I've had literally hundreds of videos that I have done successfully, and all of a sudden it doesn't want to work. And, you know, I got enough on my plate where I don't need to reinvent how I do things. So we'll try this. We'll try this for the time being because I can't do anything better. But I could promise you that I don't change the way I do things because that's too much fucking work. I got enough on my plate in real life at work to fuck with that kind of stuff. All right, now this dried out, of course, so let's clean this and let's go back and continue doing the that angle works. Yeah, well, the show must go on. I don't want to do this alone. This is a social thing for me, even though the social is kind of limited. I don't know what it is about Streamlabs being a little bitch. Maybe they want you to pay for it. Well, I'm not going to pay for it when, first of all, it was free, and now it doesn't fucking work right. So why would I throw money at the problem? Okay. Let there be Shermans. Anyhow, what I was saying was that I saw that Godzilla Minus One was available. I want to say on our Netflix. It was with the TV. My daughter's been sleeping in my bed. She's had her wisdom teeth pulled out a couple days ago. And she needs to be upright. So she was watching TV and I saw that was available. She's like, no, we'll watch that on Sunday, Daddy. All right. So the other day we started watching League of Ungentlemanly Warfare, or whatever the hell it's called. And it's not horrendous. It's not very good, but it's not horrendous. And what I was saying before I got disconnected was that I'm real particular about World War II stuff being presented in a when it's presented in a hokey way. I think the only thing I can deal with is probably Hogan's Heroes. That's probably because I grew up watching it with my dad. But other than that, I don't like hippie music in World War II movies. I don't like. I just don't like that kind of stuff. You know, it's just I'd rather not watch it. So I was saying I was actually surprised that in that particular movie they had the HMS Belfast in it. It's obvious that's what it is. And they must have green screened the living shit out of everything else on it because it showed her at speed and everything. And I don't think she's moved in 50 years or something like that, probably. I may have to finish watching that with her before I get to see some Godzilla. Some World War II Japanese equipment. Just having all this nice detail that can be pop out. That's going to be my short-term goals. Get all the stuff for this game rolling, and I won't have any excuse to. I'm not going to get bogged down with making dismounted British tank crewmen and paint them up. I think we'll just use pennies. If they have to bail out of their vehicle, we'll just use pennies and realize, okay, that you don't really need figures for them. It doesn't happen that often. Or, man, we got to get some of these guys because they're always bailing out of the vehicles. I'd say the same thing for the Germans, but I think I got German Panzer crews dismounted somewhere. But I don't think I'm going to go through the trouble of painting them at this point. We got all the Panthers that we need. Just need these Shermans. We're back. Hey, some of us never left. That's Streamlabs doing something. Streamlabs and YouTube just aren't getting along. Okay, that side looks good. Back side looks good. Just put a little bit of wash right there. That side looks good. And now I can't take a picture and show you because I'm using my freaking phone as the camera. Let's see if I can. It's kind of subtle, but definitely the stuff is probably less noticeable on this than something that's like Dunkelgelb or something like that. But this one just needs the 50 detailed and painting the antenna, and it's good to go. It's good to go. And somebody asked me, what kind of green did you use? And I just, I got to paint headlights. So nearly. I just followed the Vallejo instructions. Vallejo makes a World War II British paint set. And they recommend using bronze green as the base color and then dry brush Russian uniform. That's what I did, with a brown wash in between there and then the black lining afterwards. I'm pretty happy with it. They look different than the US Shermans. Not tremendously so, but they do look like a different color. And they're kind of an in-between color from the Russians and the. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pull those out. That might interest you guys. So you got the British color here. Let's get a Russian tank out here. Let's get one of these KV1s. The KV1s, the Russian is definitely more green. And the US should be more brown. And let's see if we can get away with doing this. Not really a way to hold this, but I don't know what kind of resolution you guys are getting. Last time I was doing live streaming, it maxed out at 720. So that's why 720 doesn't really cut it for this stuff, but there's a difference in the greens. This is definitely more green than the other ones. And this is just a standard Vallejo Russian green. Actually, they're all Vallejos, so. Anyhow, not all the greens are the same. Now, I've got enough Soviet stuff now that I can probably get into doing some camouflage now on some of the early 41 stuff. Okay, let's blackline the next one. Actually, this one's already dry, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, let's put this guy there. Let's close this and move it out of the way temporarily. We don't want to bump it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. And this is what I'm telling you. You don't need a freaking airbrush to. I don't know if this. Let me see if I can get this to come out. Look at the dusting effect. I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I like to show you guys how fucking easy this is to do. If you just put some effort in and take it slow. This looks like the dust effect here. And it's just dry brushing. There's no airbrushing. The only reason I even airbrush these things to begin with is because it speeds it speeds up some of the painting. But you don't need an airbrush. You can do this all by hand. But when you airbrush this stuff, you end up getting some of the airbrush in these recesses, and it goes against making some of these details pop. It's counterintuitive. So, okay, let's do Acheron here. Let's do the base weathering on Acheron. And then while that's drying, we can circle back to the other ones. You subscribe. Thank you, sir. Sorry about the problems we've been having with the Streamlabs. Like I've said, I don't know if I was online when I said this within the last 30 minutes or so, but I've done hundreds of videos, maybe even thousands of videos, low thousands, and had no problems. And all of a sudden, it just beat a little bitch. And I can promise you, I'm not doing anything different. It's, this is my area of expertise is painting stuff, not being a techie nerd burglar. And I don't know whether Streamlabs and YouTube are now at odds and they're not wanting stuff to work, but last couple days it's been, I'll have a run. A couple of weekends ago, I was on for like fucking 7 hours. I had no problems. I didn't do anything different. I'm a big fan. If it works, don't fuck with it. And it was working, so I didn't fuck with it, but I'm not sure what it is with solar flares. But anyways, the show will go on. Hopefully, I'm glad you guys are able to type. That's good. But I do this because it keeps me on task, and I like to talk hobby with you guys. And maybe, just maybe, some of this is useful to some of you. But I don't want to take this shit to the grave, And I want to be entertained. It's in between the conversations and stuff, or interaction point. But sometimes it just doesn't want to work. It's happened before. Hasn't happened in a long time, but I used to use something that wasn't Streamlabs. This was so long ago, I don't remember what the hell it was. But it started acting up, and I'm like, well, I guess we'll leave you. And maybe I need to start looking for something that's not Streamlabs. Well, I apologize for the broken nature of some of these feeds, but I can assure you, I didn't do anything different. That creates too much work. That's the US Field Dry base color. We're going to go to Iraqi Sand next. Hopefully your feed looks like it looks like for me, which is pretty decent resolution. And unfortunately, my awesome microphone isn't compatible with this, but I enunciate pretty well. You probably won't have a problem hearing me. Although the girls are asleep right now, so we can't have a rally. We got to keep it down to a low roar. That's literally the best thing you could do, subscribe. And I got this one friend of mine who's always putting his foot in his mouth. And I told him, I said, man, subscribe to my channel. Well, I can't really afford it. I'm kind of on limited funds. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. Okay, that's not how it works. Help me with the algorithm. That's it. Yeah, a couple. I really hope we get this working again, because it's really good to do the airbrushing together. And we learn shit together. I'm not an airbrush. I've figured some stuff out. And maybe it's some stuff I'm telling you, the learning curve on airbrushing is insane. I think it's insane. There's just so many things that you just can't go somewhere. They just don't explain stuff to you. That's why I don't want to get a 3D printer, man. There'd be all these instructions of how to do it when you're getting it. But just getting the damn thing to work, man. Just a lot of stuff just isn't explained to you. So my whole goal is to maybe keep you guys from getting frustrated with a hobby and saying, I just can't freaking do this. And so we just take it one step at a time. You know, some people get frustrated with the dry brushing. Well, the thing about the dry brushing is you just can't dry brush one color and expect it to just pop. You know, there's all these little steps, and they're all easy, and but they all take time. You know, so my goal, along with being entertained while I do this, is maybe impart some of this knowledge so you guys don't get frustrated and say, fuck this hobby. You know, because it's a great hobby, but I don't fall for the whole, oh, well, Games Workshop stuff is just, it looks too good on the box art. There's no way I can replicate that. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can, if you want to bad enough. Okay, so we got Argyle done-ish. You know what? Let's finish her completely. Let's get some black out here. Let's paint the antenna. And dry brush the 50. And she should be good to go. And I was going to go into town. I was going to get into town and buy a little cutting mat that I'm actually willing to cut on. You know, like a little $3-4 one. And I didn't leave the house yesterday. I went to the grocery store with the wife. And that was it. My daughter is not really under the weather. That's kind of an unfair assessment, but I was going to say bedridden. That's not a fair assessment either. She had her wisdom teeth taken out, so she's not 100%. So. I've really kind of grown to love Sherman tanks. I've never really hated them. I just feel like, a lot of people just throw them together and just, it's kind of hard to get excited about something that's just kind of thrown together and there's a million of them and they're the same. And you got to make them individual. But I've really kind of learned to love these little guys. And it keeps you from being a wereaboo. I already got the blackout. And some people use dark gray. I like black. Well, Marcus, since you always do breakfast, it's Mother's Day, you should have her do breakfast. Happy Mother's Day. Make me breakfast, damn it. Been waking up late the last two mornings. I've been waking up at 6, which is late for me. Oh. The mother still... The mother wakes up and freedom goes out the window. I do want to make some bacon in it. How do you like your bacon? I can't show a picture of it. I definitely don't like it when it gets too crispy. Just changes the taste of it. A bit on the softer side. There you go, my man. Yeah. Most people like their red meat way too red for my taste and their bacon way too crispy. And I'm the opposite. If I have to eat red meat like medium rare, I'd rather not eat red meat. It's just I don't care for it. It just tastes weird. And it's not, being grossed out. Hell, I eat sushi. I'm picky where I eat sushi, but that's something my daughter always craves, and I rarely do. Man, these things look good. This one looks significantly taller. I cut them to the same size, but we're going to leave it be. Because the next thing you know, then I got to sand the end of it, file the end of the antenna. Well, if this feed isn't too bad, then this is what we'll do for a while until the other thing straightens itself out. I did a fair amount of this off camera yesterday, and I wasn't a fan of doing that. I don't know how I feel about the end of the barrel. I feel like I'm going to have to screw with that. It just looks so damn weird. It's counterintuitive. You like sushi, but only occasionally eat that. Even when I lived in Japan, there's so many other good foods in Japan. Yeah, we went to, there was a little place, the convention we just went to, that there was a little place that we went to, just a hole in the wall, almost like a fast food place, but it wasn't a fast food place. But you ordered off like an iPad that was stuck to the wall. And it was so good that I went back the second time. And the lady, I'm going to say she's Japanese. She may not have been, but she goes, "Oh, you're back. You going to try something different?" I'm like, "Nope." It was so good. What I had, I had some kind of ramen thing, but I eat with my eyes, and I could tell you what it was, but I can't use my phone. That's the problem with using the phone as a camera. But just a little hole in the wall. The only thing that could have been better is if they had the Japanese beer on tap, and they did not. They had it in bottles, but and they had them all. So for a little hole in the wall place, they had Asahi, Sapporo, a couple Kirins. Well, I don't do light anything. So what else do they have? Asahi, Sapporo. I don't know. I like them all. So I like the beer made in places where the U.S. Air Force bombed the shit out of them. They make good beer there. You know why the firefly is called the firefly? I didn't know this. That was because it made a bright light when it fired. Well, it made a bright light because it has a muzzle brake on it that you could see the flash sideways. And it's an extremely high velocity gun. And I have a feeling that that's why the HE on it wasn't very good. It's high explosive. I think that if it's got too much muzzle velocity, it like buries in the dirt farther than it should before it goes off, so it doesn't work as well. You like grilled meat places, yakitori, yakiniku. Yakiniku. to find out what exactly it was. I'll have to catch up with you. I'll do my research and let you know. It was excellent. It was really, really good. Wish we had one of those places. Tori is chicken, Niku is meat, yaki is like grilled. I want some yaki meat. That doesn't taste very good. No, it's just grilled meat. Yeah, but it tastes yaki. Exactly. What? I wish the Asians just used our alphabet. That's it. That's it. It makes it so difficult to try to peel back the layers of their history and stuff because you just can't pick up something and mortals can't pick it up and just read stuff. It's a shame. It's a shame. Do like the Turks, man. You have your own language, but use our alphabet. Okay. This probably already dried on me. Let's give this another lease of life. Yeah, but the Japanese are double whammy. They don't use our alphabet, and they drive on the wrong side of the road. Okay, we did Argyle. Let's do arrogant. They have 2 phonetic alphabets plus kanji, and it looks cool. There's no doubt about it. At least they use numbers. At least they use, the numbers that everybody has agreed upon. Almost everybody has agreed upon. But then you can't even add. Okay, let's get this back out here. And I may have to change the way I do my tufts because I'm out of some of them. I got a lot of tufts, but I'm out of the ones I've been using for everybody. The gamer's grass stuff. So we got plenty of the lowland tufts, which is the cornerstone of that. I'm a big fan of liners. I don't really like round brushes. Liners just you have so much more control. And these are cheap ass brushes. You can't get good brushes here in town. You got to mail order them. Katakana is used to sound out foreign words, so if you know how to read it, you'll know the word. Pretty cool. The only way I'm going to be able to figure that out is you just got to drop me into Japan. And I'm not a fan of visiting places that have earthquakes. That saying, go get stuffed, did that originate in Japan? Go away and get stuffed. Shadow enhancement is really what this should be called. Not really a black wash per se. Shadow enhancement. Earthquake took some getting used to. Yeah, I don't think I'd do well with that. I want to sleep in the open. I'm not claustrophobic, but man, there's some things that stick in your mind when you grow up. And one of those for me was when those bridges, the Bay Area bridges, pancaked one on top of each other. People were stuck in, it was like that double decker concrete bridge that went between Oakland and San Francisco. And it pancaked, and people were stuck in there in a car. And, I don't like parking garages just because of that. I know the kind of people that build parking garages to begin with. You actually use this technique selectively on figures. I've been calling it blacklining. Well, the technique that I use to paint figures, for the longest time, a buddy of mine, we used to call it blending. And it's blending because you're blending the colors, not because you're blending on the figure. But then somebody said, oh, it's just layering. I said, well, okay. I've always called it blending. And I actually enjoy the blending aspect. I didn't have the color triad thing. And I guess the color triad would work okay, but. Well, we're going to have to paint us a figure because I don't have a British tank commander painted yet. And he goes in here. He goes in there. He's the arrogant guy. He's in the arrogant tank. Comfortable doing them and not worried about them paint chipping off of them. Because some of them have some pretty decent sculpting on them. Although I don't know if it's the right term to use for those, but I'm just terrified of putting all this effort into a figure and it somehow would bend and the stuff come off. And maybe it's just me being stupid and not really thinking about it, but I'm just terrified of having to redo stuff. I got too many things I want to do to have to go back and redo them. And as soon as I catch wind that something's busy work, I've got zero interest in doing it. I mean, there's enough real work to do. You don't need to worry about busy work. And this stuff flows actually really nicely considering it's not an enamel. These front hatches look really restricted. I don't want to crawl in and out of them. Of course, people were smaller back then. We were watching that one episode of Band of Brothers, And we're talking about getting guy a pair of boots, and he's like, "Yeah, I wear a size 9 like everybody else." I'm like, "Size 9 for men now? That's a small. In the United States, that's a small foot." Start with dark colors, go lighter, you get dark lining effect, but like the way the wash makes browns look, so I usually give it the rifles and leather packs more depth. Yeah, that's the way I paint everything. It's hard to do it the other direction, like watercolors. My daughter does watercolors, and it just blows my mind because it's not forgiving. I guess I could probably do it as well, but I have to rethink the way I naturally think the other way around. You know, make it dark and then work your way up. Should be nice to get these guys completely based today. That'd be pretty freaking cool. Well, I can't do that yet. I don't have the stands done, but we can get them all sealed and stuff. Keep saying I need to paint a new background. I got 3 or 4 of them. So easy to do. I got enough canvases to do it. Maybe we'll do a background for Normandy. Have some hedgerows or something in there. I could get so much work done if I didn't have to go to work. Well, I'll tell you one thing that's positive about doing this way. I can read your guys' comments a lot quicker. That's right here, you know? I wonder if we could. I just got this little stand too. What's the resolution look like? Yeah, it looks pretty good. It still looks better when it gets sealed because there's a little bit of shine in places where it really isn't any. And one of the tank commanders, the guy that's in the guy that's in the Firefly in this scenario, he's a super elite chap. He's got 3 actions per turn. I don't know. That seems a little powerful, but I'll just run it the way it says. It seems like it's really unbalanced. we'll make modifications then. I don't want to start changing things before I've even seen what the repercussions are. But normally, standard soldiers get 2 actions per game turn. And this elite guy gets 3. So that means your loader potentially can load 50% faster. That could be significant, depending on when his action turn comes up. That's of course the big thing. Timing is everything. I'll have to go back and change the title of this video and everything. But as far as getting started, it's pretty easy to do it on mobile. I have to go back and look and see if the video quality is. But look, we've been on for almost 45 minutes, or a little more than 45 minutes, and we haven't had a glitch. I forgot to ask that one guy that said he subscribed. Like, how'd you find my channel? I'm always curious. Like, what works? Is it the algorithm gods smiled upon me? All right, front is, well, let's do these little, did we do them here? Yeah, we did. All right, let's do these little rivets. Okay, front. Looks good. We still have to do the little headlights, which those are fun to do. Side. Yep. Back. Not really much to say about that. All right, now the turret that goes, the arrogant turret. At times yesterday felt like it was Sunday. Thank goodness it wasn't. I really don't want to go to work today. I really don't want to go to work tomorrow, but that kind of goes without saying. The arrogant tank. Okay, that one's down. Let's do a change of pace. Let's do Mr. Firefly. We still got to paint the tools and stuff on here. Coffee's better, but it's still present. Blocked off the whole machine gun spot for extra ammo. And there's an occasional bubble or two on these models, but it's not too bad on the Britannia. Actually, they're okay. Considering I've got some other ones that have more. I'd say the bubbles that I've gotten on the Millicast. Millicast has more annoying bubbles than this. Just getting to the point where coffee doesn't work anymore. Be right back. Let me get some tea to drink. Well, let the Mother's Day festivities again. Have a great day, Tony and all. Gotta run. Okay, man. Good luck. I don't know how to pause this thing. Maybe this? Okay, that should have worked successfully. I make these panel lines pop. And these latches. Detail is a little bit limpy at places. And the bottom of these latches here. I want to say the people that do these are called grubby tanks. I think they're the ones that picked up the molds from Britannia. now the turret for the Firefly. I don't think I'm going to paint the end of this one. I think we're going to leave it as is. Actually surprised how little of this material. This stuff goes a really long way. We got another batch of linolene oil that's unopened. And I also have the Army Painter one. Dark Tone, I think is what it's called. And we're not going to tamper into that one until... Of course, I could do a comparison of all of them. You know, if I didn't have anything to do. Is it 176? It may be. Yeah, I guess the Britannias are 176. Oh well. That doesn't bother me any. Although we need to paint the tools and stuff on here. Let's go ahead and do that now before we get any further along. The black should still be alive from a little while ago. Let's move this guy out of the way. Oh, notice that I missed some spots. That's good. Okay. This looks like a metal bar. There's another one here. and really just a shovel handle. Gets brown. Beige brown still out here somewhere? Should be. Now, whether it is or not, oh, there it is. Way back here. You just come over here to shovel handle land. Let's bring this up a little bit more. And we're going to need a white. Well, I guess we'll operate in this mode until things square themselves out. I don't know how the airbrushing will work with this camera view, but we've done it before. And where's the metallic color? Here it is, the whatever the hell this is called, lead belcher. That sounds like something that fires, got a lot of barrels that fire really fast. Bring out the lead belcher. Still need to put a small machine gun in the front of that M4A4. Which is starting to look crappier and crappier the more I look at it. But I got it a long time ago. Might as well use it. No point in throwing it in the trash pile. Doesn't look that bad. All right, I'm gonna go take a little pee break and I'll be right back. Definitely these Shermans are definitely a little oversized. But they probably should look good with the oversized Panthers by the same manufacturer. Man, that Zimmer's nice. He did a really nice job. The sculptor did a really nice job on the Zimmer. Yeah, the Panther doesn't seem so freaking magnanimously large compared to the Sherman. I mean, the Panther was a 45-ton tank. The Sherman was 32. A Sherman has more tonnage than a Panzer IV. It's a pretty big vehicle. All right, Shermy. Which one are we doing next? We're going to do Ardent. Let's do Ardent. Yeah, see, some of this stuff gets stuck on the bristles. And it doesn't bend properly. Let's just use some hand sanitizer. You guys all know about that, right? Make sure you watch my hand sanitizer video. And it's super handy to have it around. You get paint on you, it comes off your hands. Smells good. The only thing you got to be careful is you got to make sure you get it off your hands before you start handling a painted model, or you could cause damage to it. I haven't done it yet. I said yet, that way I'm covered. But it's a great thing to have around. And I don't know how they all work, but this is what I'm using. Now, I don't know why the picture's backwards. Hopefully it's not backwards for you guys. Purell. Oh, expire! I got to use it quick. It expires in May of this month. May of this month. May of this year. This month of this year. All right, let's take the turret off of Ardent. And when we're done with this, well, we're going to do the stuff for the scenario, but I got a couple of Japanese vehicles to paint. I got another Hago to paint, and that Japanese self-propelled gun. Of course, no gun crew. I like that wild Japanese camouflage schemes for the tanks. I think it looks pretty cool. Using freaking canary yellow and shit like that. Canary looking yellow. Yeah, there we go. Make these beautiful details of this. I don't know if the person that makes the models, you'd call him a sculptor. We'll just call him a sculptor just for lack of better terminology, but wish I could find an inexpensive M10 tank destroyer, or one that didn't cost like $25 each. That's about what I'm looking at. And I'd be perfectly happy with the Armor Fast ones if they were available. No, let me take that back. No, probably not. Because they redid them where they've got gun breaches in them. The first version of the tank destroyer, and they have several of them on eBay. I'm just not going to pick them. I'm not going to pick up a freaking tank destroyer that doesn't have a gun breach on it when it's like right in the middle of the freaking opening. And then even if it has that, it's got none of the racks for the ammunition, and it's like super prominent. So I think I'm just going to have to do the models. I think, unless Plastic Soldier Company get off their ass and make a 3D printed version of them. Those open top vehicles are really good for skirmish games because you can't get close. You start playing, catch the grenade in the crew compartment. So that makes it really good for play balance. You've got, vehicles that could be harmed by infantry if they're open topped. If they're completely enclosed, there's many times not much you can do. So, I was talking about playing on an 8 foot by 8 foot table. Even with an 8 foot by 8 foot table in this scale, you're looking at 8 feet being almost 200 meters. So if you have a battlefield, it's 200 meters by 200 meters. That's really point blank range. And that's at the extreme ends of the table. You get any closer than that, you've got you're in overrun distance. That's what makes it different than any other games I've played. You're going to have collisions. When we were doing naval gaming in the early 90s, one of my favorite things to do, I mean, I didn't do it on purpose, but it happened, is ramming. You're just not supposed to ram somebody, but man, it's exciting when it happens. Because it's such an infrequent occurrence. Something exciting about ramming other ship. Okay, back's done. This side, done. The front's always the one that takes the longest. Kinds of nooks and crannies. This one has no additional armor on it. Crooks and grannies. I wonder if people know that. I wonder if people know that when they go onto my channel, there's a little bit of a delay. Now, I can tell how many people supposedly are on, but I can't tell who they are. I wonder if people know that. What if somebody's like miffed, like, I go on your channel, but you don't ever say anything to me? Well, I don't know you're there. I don't know who's there. No, they did that for privacy concerns or something. I'll tell you what, if there was a way to override that, I would. I'd be like, yep, please let me know who the hell's watching me at all times. Because I want to interact with you guys, not because I'm that nosy. You know? I'll find out how many of you guys are Chinese bots. I want to interact with those folks. Now, I don't think that is common knowledge. I mean, you find out a lot of things when you do your own YouTube programming that there's no reason why you would know that otherwise. Okay, let's go on the outside of this little splash guard. I guess it's a shrapnel splash guard or something. Turret ring deflector or something or another. Once you're done with this one, you got 2 more left to go. Make these little tools pop a little bit more. pretty handy to not have these machine guns glued down. No reason to, really. Oh, we got gained quite a few new subscribers in the last month. Kind of stalled out there for a while. The only reason I care about number of subscribers is just so, people might be interested in my content. It's not recommended because I don't have more subscribers and stuff. But had trouble getting up to 1,800 for a while. I gain 3, lose 3, gain 2, lose 4, gain 5, lose 1, just kind of back and forth. I suspect it's a few DBA folks. They're like, man, you're just not putting any DBA content. No, I can't. We can certainly talk about it if you want to. Certainly the history behind it. Woo! But yeah, there's no more DBA content. Won't be coming from me. I'm not going to take down the old DBA videos. I mean, I was proud of doing what we did when we did them, regardless of the mistakes that we may have inadvertently made on them. And it's like I've said in the past, DBA is the simplest game that has been. It's anything but simple. It just gives the illusion that it's simple. Okay. That's ardent. It's too almond last. Let's do the other firefly. The firefly with a running gear running the wrong way. I didn't notice until it was done, and until I'm nearly done painting it. Even if I would have noticed it, I'd probably just have to keep plugging along with it. I can't tear those things off. I didn't build it. Yeah, Marcus took everybody with him. I guess he had the last word. Yeah, make that little, and you can make these little the sand skirts. It comes with the sand skirts, but these are already molded on. Well, this was already built. This is, like I said, I picked this thing up from an estate sale for $1. So I think I've gotten my dollar's worth out of this thing, even if the running gear is backwards. Not a big deal. The biggest deal about it is you can't unsee it. Like, you know. Well, what the most universally disliked World War II tank is. Everybody's going to have their favorites, but I make these details pop. It seems tedious, but you only got to do this once. We'll end up having 4M4A4s and two VC Fireflies. That should be plenty for a while. And that doesn't count the crab. The crabby back here. Yeah, coffee just doesn't work on me anymore. Oh, Marcos will be happy to know that he got the last word in. The detail that's on here is actually really lightly printed on there, lightly cast. Got the bracket back here on the back that was used to hold up the long barrel of the Firefly when it was in travel mode. Points back here at like 7 o'clock. Yeah, it points back here like this. I'm gonna go make another cup of coffee. Be right back. Liquid motivation. It's about done on this thing. Do a little bit of touching up on these tracks. Actually turned out really well considering they're made out of green stuff. It'll pop nicely. The nice thing about this is watered down enough that if you want it darker, just go over it again. That's actually what I'm really scared about the Tamiya one, is it being really, really dark. Actually, the main reason I don't want to mess with it is I don't want to clear coat the entire vehicle. Before I clear coat the entire vehicle, I end up clear coating the whole vehicle, but when I'm done, I already have a slow enough process. I don't need more steps in it to get even less things accomplished. All right, now the turret of the VC Firefly. These M4A4s have the top of the turret only have one hatch, one for the commander. And when they put the Firefly in, they had to cut another. It was very difficult for the gunner or the loader, one of the two, to get out of there. They actually had to mount the gun sideways at 90 degrees and really encroached on the space. This little box that's back here is an area that got in because there's no space for the radio. So the radio got put kind of in that box back there. And this gun, when it went off, it's a huge gun. It's a really, really long gun. And they cut the top of the hatch to give another hatch option so that the crew members could get out and not get stuck in there if, if they needed to bail. They wouldn't have done that in Russia. They would have just said, fuck them. That's why I'll say this is, even though the Germans and the Russians were both bad, and the Germans did some really bad stuff. You'd be better off being in the German armed forces than you would in the Russian ones, from a standpoint of like survivability, because Russians didn't fucking care, and the Germans handicapped themselves many times because they would constantly be improving things on their tanks. They wouldn't wait until, well, we'll get that in the next model. They'd be like, hey, this doesn't work, and like, all right, well, let's modify this run of whatever tank to incorporate something. And that really messed up their production. I'm not saying that, all German vehicles had, the best comfort and survivability and everything, but they did listen to the crews. Even to the point where it hampered them on production. Like they would have been able to produce more things if they didn't have to make all these tiny changes frequently. So yeah, this gun was mounted sideways. And they cut a hole here for this hatch. So a guy could get out. Now the early Shermans only had one hatch on the roof, and eventually, I want to say the M4A3s were the first ones that had two hatches. But as a general rule, the American tanks had good crew comfort, if you could call it that. They were less uncomfortable than many other vehicles. And the same thing for the Germans. Just throw Panzer twos, anything before Panzer, Panzer threes onwards. The Germans had good crew. What's the best way to call it? Crew conditions. Stuff in them to work efficiently. And the British and the Americans. Those were the best from that standpoint. all the tanks, the one that the black lining made the biggest difference with is this one. And it's because the detail on it's rather soft. Got left to do almond. Rough ass engine deck back here. Well, it's definitely a candidate for making some stuff out of green stuff and adding it to it to cover up some of the incongruencies. But I hadn't really noticed this was a complete knockoff of Matchbox Firefly. Had no idea. There's one manufacturer that is no longer in business. I have some of their stuff before. And I suspect that a lot of their stuff was knockoffs too. You know, there's people that sell stuff on eBay. I don't know how they get away with it, but there's one company, or at least one vendor, or several vendors in particular, you can tell that they are pirated AB figures that are made in China. The same sculpting tile of Anthony Barton has a very distinct sculpting style. And they're on these figures. And they're actually not cheap. That's just mean. That's just mean-spirited. You're taking somebody else's work and passing it off on as your own. I've noticed, to my surprise, there's a lot of folks that have a hard time saying something nice about something somebody else did or giving them credit. It doesn't cost you anything, man. It doesn't cost you anything to be a decent human being. Okay, this side is good. Oh, all right. It's kind of a unique thing this thing has back here, like a box, whatever. This turret in particular was pretty rough hewn. Like, I wouldn't go out and buy these things now, but I don't even know where the hell I got this from. No doubt I was somewhere 25 years ago, or maybe even more, and they happen to have this, and I'm like, well, I'll pick it up because I'm here. I'm here and they have it. I don't have to mail order it. But this would be a good candidate for if you had a vehicle that you wanted to make into a wreck, it'd be this one. Totally usable, but doesn't look very good compared to the more modern offerings. Okay, we got headlights to put on these. We got a whole machine gun to put on there. it takes a while, but they look good once you do them. Okay, well, that's going to do a wrap for today, for this morning. Anyways, at least we were able to get somewhere. Even if we had to find a different way to do the feed. But anyways, enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you guys on the next one. And I have to figure out how to turn this thing off. And I'm not sure I know how to, because it's on a different one. All right, folks. There we go. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.